Hey everyone! Well, as you can hear, it's not completely gone yet, but I'm tired of waiting. 3 weeks now this stuff has been hanging on, so I'm just going to do the best I can. I hope you are okay with that. Thank you. I knew you'd agree.
The Adventures of Irvingman!
It's Jimmy Olsen's birthday. Clark and Lois have taken him out to see a show. This one features a ventriloquist who seems to have lost control of his act.
I understand that you missed school today. Why was that? I had a toothache. Well, did you go to the dentist? No, why should I? The one that ached was the one he jerked out yesterday. Under the apple tree.
Well, there's your problem. The dentist is under the tree instead of in his office.
What's that?
I said under the old apple tree.
Freddie, this is the third time this week you've missed school. What's the matter? Don't you like school? Oh, I can take it or leave it. I think I'll leave it.
Down by the old mill stream.
It's amazing. The only time he's a good ventriloquist is when he's quoting old song lyrics.
Down by the old mill stream.
Down by
the old mill stream.
missing school so often. No wonder you're still in the third grade. Why, a boy 14...
11 and a half.
A boy 14...
11 and a half.
All right, 11 and a half. A boy 11 and a half shouldn't... Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me.
It's pretty clear that was a message to those two guys, but who's doing it and why? They all saw both Marco and the dummy talking at the same time, which no ventriloquist can do by himself. They want to go back and talk to him.
And you heard?
Yes, that's why we'd like to ask you.
Look at him sitting there so innocently. In the shade of the old apple tree, down by the old mill stream. 11 and a half. He knows he's 14. He's been 14 for the last 10 years.
It wasn't Freddie's fault, Mr. Marco. Someone else put those words in his mouth.
He has no idea who might want to sabotage his act like that. As far as he knows, he doesn't have any enemies in the performing industry.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
Yes, about a month ago, we were playing Portersville. I thought Freddie was trying to take over the act. I had a long talk with him afterwards, and he promised. Oh, but of course it wasn't Freddie at all.
But what were the words he added then?
Well, he kept saying he was only 10 years old.
That's as much as he can remember. They take their leave with his assurance that if it happens again, he'll call them. They don't leave a business card or anything like that. They don't need to. Everybody knows the number of the Daily Planet. They teach it in school.
Do you remember that business a while back with an armored car? The one from Green's Incorporated?
Remember it. Are you kidding, Chief? An armored car with $500,000 in cold cash just doesn't disappear every day.
Got any new leads, Chief? No, I haven't. All the police know is what they started out with.
He wants a story about what the company is doing now. Have there been any shakeups? Are they taking extra precautions? Things like that. Find out how they're responding to this.
Head just a little higher, Mr. Green. That's it. Now hold it. Thank you. Now for one of you and your secretary, Mr.
Davis. No, I... Come on, Davis, it doesn't hurt.
Now, if you'll just stand there at the corner of the desk and hand Mr. Green a paper. That's it. Hold it.
He doesn't want his picture in the paper. One or the other of you might make like a good news hound and ask why. Green is telling about his new security approach. Drivers don't know their route until they're ready to leave. They operate under sealed orders.
Davis and I work out the routes the night before. We only make one copy, seal it in an envelope, and lock the envelope in my private files. No one has keys but Davis and myself.
Which means Davis is your leak. You and he are the only ones who know the route, so if you didn't leak it to the bad guys, well... A driver comes in and Green gives him his sealed orders. It does appear to be nearly foolproof, so if it fails, it has to be an inside job. We watch the armored car go to a certain bank and pick up a bunch of cash, then the driver opens the envelope.
We're to go out Apple Tree Road and turn onto the old mill cutoff.
What's their destination?
What is it, Bob? Breakdown, huh? Looks phony to me.
Whoever is doing this, their tendrils go deep into Mr. Green's operation. We kill a few minutes of runtime watching these guys bring in a big truck, close the hood of the car and start it, jockey the car and the armored car and the truck around like water bugs for a while. Then the truck driver and the car guy open the back of the truck, drag out a couple of ramp boards, maneuver them until they're just so, and finally... We see how the armored cars disappear without a trace. We don't know what they do with the guards yet. We fill some more runtime watching them button up the truck, maneuver the car around, and the two vehicles take off in a mini convoy. Mission accomplished, runtime filled.
The route of the armored car, it went out Apple Tree Road to the Old Mill Cutoff.
And that's what the dummy said the other night. Under the apple tree, down by the old mill stream.
Not only that, he said he was 11 and a half years old. That's 11:30, the time the armored car took off from the bank.
I knew those things sounded familiar. Really, as quick as the guard read those instructions, most of the audience figured it out. The difference is Clark, Lois, and Jim weren't there to hear the guard. We were.
Clark, we've got to go to Henderson with this.
Sure, let's go.
Not you, Jim. You've got some work to do.
Oh! Jeepers.
What do people who drive Jeeps have to do with it?
First, they're the men that actually pull the job. They get their instructions through the ventriloquist. And that's all they know. Then there's the ventriloquist himself, the one who puts the words in the dummy's mouth. Now, he gets his instructions, let's say, over the phone. The crooks take theirs when the job's through. And as for the rest of it, well, that's delivered in some roundabout way to whoever's behind all this.
None of the people in the chain know each other, so it's almost impossible to track all of them down. They know Marco can't be the ventriloquist. He and the dummy were talking at the same time. Plus, he's not a very good ventriloquist. Henderson calls Green and says, we have some new leads.
Leads? I don't care about leads. What I want is action. Look, Inspector, it's over a month since that first disappearance, and what have you accomplished? Absolutely nothing.
That's what leads are for, Mr. Green. After he abuses Henderson a little more, Davis announces Jim Olsen.
Here are three I've selected I think will do. They're for the second installment of that feature story your paper's running. Tell Mr. White if those aren't enough, I'll have our public relations department send over some more.
Thank you, sir.
That's his official mission. His unofficial mission is to see if he can find anything on Davis.
Davis?
Yeah, who are you?
Don't give me that. You know who I am, and I know you. You take a good picture, Davis.
What does that mean?
I saw that article in the Sunday Planet. I recognized you right away. They used to talk a lot about you in the big house. Only your name wasn't Davis then. It was Al Rosselli. You pulled that big jewelry job back in '41.
He's part of the chain and he wants more money. Davis orders him out and threatens to get violent. Time for James Bartholomew Olsen to be somewhere else. He slips into an empty office and calls Perry.
Sure, I got the pictures, but listen to me, Chief, this is important. It might crack the whole case. What case? Why, the robberies, the armored cars. Look, I was just coming out of Mr. Green's office when I saw...
Hello, Jim. Jim, are you there?
No, he isn't. He's taking a nap, courtesy of that guy who's shaking down Davis. Should have gone back to the office and told the chief in person. Ah, the impatience of youth. Perry tells Lois, get Kent and get over there right away.
Oh, I see. The men from the safe rental company.
Yeah, we came to pick up that safe you're not using.
Well, how'll you get it down the street? The freight elevator isn't working, and there are 15 flights of stairs.
Don't worry, mister. We got a block and tackle rigged up on the roof. All we do is lower her out the window.
The safe is heavier than usual since Jim Olsen is inside. Hence, one of the ropes breaks. It's about to fall.
Lois, look!
No, Lois Lane.
It's Jim. He's in that safe.
In that safe? But Clark, how did...
As we know, he does that a lot, but at least this time it makes a little sense. They're at a red light and she can't run it, but he can get out and run on foot. She'll assume that's what he did. She didn't realize he ran all the way to Silsby because that's the same alley he ran into there. In fact, that footage is lifted straight from Superman and the Mole Man with shots of the safe cut in. The show did a lot of cost-cutting stuff like that. And to tell the truth, I wouldn't have noticed it if I hadn't just reviewed the movie. So I'm guessing they got away with it. The combination to that safe is 4-2. Never mind.
Jimmy, are you all right?
Yeah, I guess so. My legs are a little weak, that's all.
It's time to take Henderson to the theater. Clark notices a certain usher getting a phone call.
What? Another job? Tonight? Davis, you've got your nerve after what happened this afternoon. What do you mean, what happened? Look, Davis, I'll do it. But from now on, my price is $5,000. That's right, you heard me, $5 grand. Well, okay. All you gotta do is tell me what to say.
He's the one who was trying to blackmail Davis and the one who knocked out Jimmy. He's also the rogue ventriloquist. Henderson is ready to arrest him right now, but Clark says we'll know when and where they intend to pull the next job so we can set a trap and find out what they did with those cars, the money, and especially the guards. If they did anything to the guards, these guys are headed for the chair. For better or worse, America didn't dink around about such things in 1952.
Oh, I can take it or leave it. I think I'll leave it.
With Uncle Irving and Aunt
What's that?
Magnolia. I said with Uncle Irving and Aunt Magnolia.
Missing school so often, no wonder you're still in the 3rd grade. Why, a boy 14 should...
13 and a half.
A boy 14?
13 and a half.
The bad guys have the information. So does Lois.
Irving Boulevard and Magnolia Street, 13 and a half. That'll be 1:30.
Good. Irving and Magnolia at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon. We'll be there with bells on. And now our friend the usher.
You'll need more than the usher.
I'll get Davis later.
But Davis isn't the only one. You want Green, too.
What are you talking about, Clark?
What's Green got to do with it? Think he'd rob his own company?
It was Green's voice I heard on the phone.
Oh, you're crazy.
Okay, I'll prove it to you. See you later.
Okay, now I'm confused. But Clark is never wrong, so let's see how and why Green is involved in this.
Well, there he goes again. Inspector, where does he disappear to all the time?
I don't know. Maybe he runs into an alley, takes off his glasses, and turns into Superman.
Nah, that's silly. You could see it in Lois's expression. He probably just drinks a lot of coffee. An operation like this can get you a lot of money, as we saw, but a disgruntled employee can be a problem.
Davis, what, is something wrong?
Okay, Green, your plan worked. Now we can quit playing cat and mouse.
Cat and mouse? I don't know what on earth you're talking about.
You set me up as a fall guy. You knew that if anything went wrong with your plans, the first one the police would come looking for is me, a 3-time loser.
He only just figured that out. You'd better gruntle him quick, Green.
Davis, put that gun away. Have you lost your senses?
I'll take that gun, Davis. Whoever you are, stay away from me or I'll shoot. Don't be a fool, Davis. You're in the clear now. Better keep it that way.
In the clear, but I thought...
I know what you thought, Green, but you're all through. You've given yourself away.
Shoot him, Davis, shoot!
Davis realized Superman is right, and if he uses that gun even against Superman, he makes it a lot worse for himself. Green isn't so perceptive.
That won't do you any good, Green. Nothing will. You have a date with Inspector Henderson at police headquarters. He'll be interested to know what $500,000 in stolen currency is doing in your safe. Still in the original bank wrappers.
Still in the bank wrappers. He's not very good at this.
Well, Kent, the trap worked. We tailed the crooks to their hideout, recovered the armored cars, the missing men, and the money.
All of it, Inspector?
Well, not all, about 200,000. But that plus the $500,000 that Superman brought in last night when he delivered Green.
Now they both want to know how Clark knew it was Green on the other end of that call. But before he can answer, Henderson's phone rings.
All right, Clark, if you're so smart, who's on the other end of the phone now?
The chief. And if we're not back at the planet in 15 seconds flat, we're both going to get fired. Now, come on.
Oh, for you, Kent, your boss. Hey.
Green had a pretty good scheme going there, and that was a brilliant way of passing information. But as so often happens with criminals, he got greedy. He tried to do it too often and drew too much attention to the operation. That brought in a pair of top news reporters who broke the whole thing open. When they started asking questions, the thing to do was lay low for about 6 months to a year and let the noise die down. And then, if you plan to do one more score, have an exit plan in place. Be ready to leave. And for Pete's sake, take the money out of the bank wrappers, idiot. And for the FBI, the NSA, the HSA, the RAF, and any other acronyms that may be listening, I know this stuff from reading books, not from, you know. I'll see you next time on Adventures of Irvingman.